participants. Me. Right.
Right, Pat.
How you doing? You all right?
How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks. How about you?
Good, mate. Yeah.
Good. Sorry, I missed you yesterday. I completely forgot I'd put Thursday aside to go and pick up this gym equipment from the south coast. So tough day yesterday.
Whereabouts was it?
There was one piece of kit in Chichester, and then we picked up another piece on the way back as we went. Yeah. Fair old trek, and then to Surrey. So Chichester, Surrey, and then back home.
Bloody hell, what were you picking up like?
We've got a pendulum squat, a 4-station primal cable machine, good piece of kit, and that was it for this one. But we've got a glute drive coming. We've got a good amount of gym equipment coming. So
nice one.
Yeah, should be some smart new equipment to use when we finally do get a chance to open the doors.
Good stuff. Were they from gyms that had shut down or something then?
Yeah, these two. There was a gym that I picked up some stuff from in Sheffield that had gone under. In a roundabout way, the stuff ended up in Sheffield, but it was from a gym that had was struggling. These guys just wanted to make better use of the space, or they didn't really have the space in their gyms, which are quite small, for these really big pieces of kit.
Right.
So we're putting a mezzanine in the mix, so we've got a lot more space now that we can fill.
Cool.
We had a lot of space anyway, didn't we? But this makes it 12,000 square feet, up from 10. So I'm going to put it on Facebook soon. And exciting stuff for the members when we do get a chance to.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Be nice for the members when we new toys to play with when we get open.
Yeah.
He's come on, Boris, this morning and said it will be 2 weeks for gyms.
Yeah, reckon so, doesn't it? Which is good. It's good, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Does that give you some sort of time to get ready?
The installation of this mezzanine, they're starting week commencing the 13th of July. The manufacture of the steel was put back because of this COVID job.
Yeah.
So I've been waiting on the manufacture of the steel really. So it might be that the first sort of week to 10 days of opening might be a bit disrupted, but we can work around it.
Right.
So once the mezzanine's in, I've got to put the rubber floor down on it, and then put the kit up, and then so it might be a couple of weeks of disruption, but we'll get around it. It'll be worth waiting for.
Yeah, it'd be good.
But we'll still get open so that members can come in and do a bit.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. Is there anybody else joining us, mate? Let's have a quick look.
No, I'm not sure.
No, it's just me and you, mate.
Is it?
But we'll do a bit, and I've got the workout planned here.
All right, go on.
So quick, while we're waiting for anybody else to maybe pop in late. So we're gonna do some 1.5s this time, mate. We've done some of this in the past. So changing the turnaround point between the negative and the positive, kind of like matrix training a little bit, really. So it's just another method to extend your time under tension a little bit. When you can't change your weights around a little, methods like this just help to push the intensity levels on a little bit. So 1.5 is on a wide pull-up for lats. So we're going to do the adduction from wide. Then we're going to go close, which is more shoulder extension, pulling the arm down. So the 2 rolls of the lats. Then we're going to do a slide pull-through, which is our isolated movement for lats.
Yeah.
Then into back. So we've got an inverted row and some door frame, scapular squeezes, all with a 1.5 method. Onto biceps. Phone's beeping away. Onto biceps, headbanger curls into some underhand chin-ups.
Yeah.
So no supersets today, mate. All straight sets, but we're going to try and run it with a 1.5, and we'll see how we get on.
Yeah,
so,
I'll get my chair.
Yeah, down. So just me and you then, mate. I'll just get set up on this chinning station.
Okay.
Gutted, Sean. I've lost my broom handle for my gins.
I'm ready when you are, Pat.
Sound? Yeah, brilliant. Just a quick warm up then, mate. We'll quick, mate. Yeah, really quick. We'll start with the hips.
Yep.
Work our way up from there. Bit of gluteal recruitment first. Always good for sort of hitting our upper back. That might be a bit better. Move this out of the way for now.
I'll turn my mic off, Pat, so it's not buggering you.
Okay, thanks, Sean. Okay, then let's start our little warm up with. We're going to start with a little hip hinge and then coming up through so that we try and get this posterior chain through the hips activated to start with. So we'll start with these little sort of swing throughs, folding at the pelvis, then coming up. We don't need so much. It's me and you, Sean. So our warm up doesn't need to be too specific for me and you. Nice fold, coming up, head up, chest out. Shoulders down and back. We've got that scapular depression and retraction. From there, man, we're getting to a little bit of rotation through the midsection. Make sure that we free up the feet so that we don't put the knees through too much strain. Just into the side of the torso now then, mate. So we want to pop a little bit of length, obliques, intercostals, into the lats, so we can get progressively deeper with every rep. It doesn't have to be too deep for the first couple of reps. Just let that body get used to that movement, putting progressive length into the muscles of the side of the torso. If you tip at the pelvis, you're going to lose that stretch. So keep your hips through the movement, keep your hips in extension. And into the upper body then a little bit. Let's go for some external rotation. So take these thumbs behind. Really often neglected. Trying to look after the collective rotation at the back of the shoulder. So some of these scare rotation just to try and get a little bit of blood to the back of that shoulder. Into chest and back. Give yourself a hug. Open up that stretch at that back and then into the chest. So try and make sure that we're externally rotating when we get to the chest portion of the stretch. The thumbs go behind, so lead with those thumbs and take them behind. One down now, flexion and extension of the shoulder. Feel that on the front part of my shoulder. And some rotations, mate. This will be enough for our shoulders, I think. Upper body. Okay, mate, that'll do for our little warm-up. So first movement then, we're going to get set up on our chinning station. We're going to start with adduction. So that wide elbow down into the hip. We're going to do the wider grip. So to chin ups at our chinning station. And we're going to try some 1.5s. All right, we're going to do 2 sets. So we're going to do a full rep and then a half a rep at the top. We want to try and get that half rep at the top where the benefits at the top of this particular movement. So we know it's harder at the top of a chin-up of a pull-up. So we're going to try and hang out there as much as we can. Aiming for 8, 10, 12 reps if we can. Time one essentially going to be extended by virtue of doing 1.5 reps. So we're going to do a full rep, half at the top, full rep, half at the top. Yeah, steady away, mate. Nice wide grip. Try and get those elbows down and into the sort of hip region if you can, activating that lat. All right, then in our own time, mate, let's try and work through 2 sets of this. Let's see how these feel. Is that camera set up okay? Yes, it is. Right, here we go. Nice wide grip. Controlled reps if we can. Get your feet underneath you. Torso wants to get vertical. Whoops. 1.5. 2.5. 3. 4. 5.5. 6.5. 7.5. These chairs are wobbling around for me today. So they're not even. 8.5. 9. 10. Little half rep. I'll rest there, Sean. These chairs need adjusting, but as we get about 12 reps or so, I'm just going to adjust these. Not quite right. That's better. Half of it was on the rubber and half of it was on the track, so it was just wobbling a little. Better now, they're all on the rubber. So 10 reps there, first set, for me anyway, with all 1.5s. And that's basically the theme for the session. So we're going to try and get our full reps as normal, but we're going to try a half rep at the most challenging portion of the lift. So the example there, we're getting to the top. That's where we're performing our half before we do our full rep again. So we're trying to hang out in the, spend a lot of time in the most challenging portion of the lift. And that's, of course, extends our time and attention. So one more set of those in a few seconds' time. So 2 sets in shoulder adduction, 2 sets in shoulder extension with a closer grip, and then 2 sets isolated shoulder extension, kind of isolated, taking elbow flexion out of the movement to complete our lats, and then it's mid-back after that. Okay, so trying to get that second set then. It's only me and you here, Sean, so we can maybe work through the phone's going again. All right, nice wide grip. Same as previous. Let's get that good set. What's up with these chairs today? 1.5. 2.5. 3.5. 4.5. 5.5. 6.5. 7.5. Come on, 3 more. 8.5. 9.5. 1 more. 10. Oh. That's a tough set. Little breather there. So hopefully, mate, it won't be too much longer before you can get back in the gym and you can see if this style of training has managed to keep some of that muscular conditioning for you, and hopefully physicality won't have regressed. You know, hopefully you might even have improved a little bit. Hopefully, certainly with the body weight stuff. So we've had 2 sets there where the idea is that we're getting the shoulder into adduction, which is the primary role of the lats. Another one of the movements of the lats is to try and bring this shoulder down into extension. All right, so by bringing the grip closer, which brings these elbows across the torso a little bit, it changes the role of the lats. So going wide to close just tries to give that variety to the upper back. So I'm going to come a little closer with my chairs, and we're going to try and do the same thing. Little 1.5s with the hands a little closer, still in this pronated grip with the palms away. That classic sort of pull-up movement, as opposed to the chin up with the palm face, which we've got those later for biceps. So we don't want to go excessively close, but all we're looking to do with the grip is bring our elbows from this wide position a little bit across the torso there, and we're going to perform the pull there. And it just changes that movement in the lats. So let's have a go at our first set of that then. Same thing, 1.5s. Try and get the half rep at the top where it's of the most benefit. Let's see how we get on. First set. I'm going to shoot for 10 again, because these are quite tough, these. I found that second set of 10 just now quite challenging. I'm having a tough week though, so that's my excuse. All right, here we go. Nice. Try and bring those elbows nice and close together so that your shoulders are in extension as you pull the movement. Here we go. 1 and a half. 2 and a half. 3 and a half. 4 and a half. 5 and a half. 6 and a half. 7 and a half. No breather. 8 and a half. 9 and a half. That's me, 9. Feeling that in my upper back, a little bit of forearms and biceps, but certainly in my lats. Little recovery. I think I must have put a bit of weight on this lockdown, because these pull-ups certainly feel a lot harder when I'm doing the sort of chin-ups. When I'm training on my own earlier as well, they feel a little more challenging. So must be a bit heavier, as most people will be, I think. We've got 1 more set of those, Sean, and then we're into our sort of slide pull throughs, the isolated movement for the lats. Last few seconds, and give that upper back every opportunity to recover and get the reps that we need. I've been shooting for 10s, but I only got 9s just then.
Yeah, I've been doing loads of cardio, and I thought I'd rather come back a little bit lighter.
Yeah, come back a bit fitter.
Yeah, and a little bit lighter maybe, and then try get back to the normal style of training, some more weights and stuff. I just thought, rather than being a bit chunky, I'd rather come a bit lighter, really.
Yeah, nothing wrong with periodising your training like that. I've been trying to do more cardio, trying to hit the bags and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I don't know how, I can't quite get my head around being busy whilst we've been shut. I just seem to be chasing my arse still. Very strange. No, it's good. It's good that you're doing a bit more cardio, mate. You're feeling a bit fitter.
Yeah, I've been doing Ali's sort of circuits a lot.
Cracking, yeah.
It's kind of, when you train at home, you do end up doing a more of a circuit style training anyway, don't you? Because
I think it lends itself better to that style of training. I mean, I put these muscle maintenance sessions on for those who maybe wanted to look after the muscle that they had a bit, and you know, I wanted the class structure that we offered to be a bit more diverse. I didn't want to offer more HIIT and more cardio, because I knew the other guys, you know, the other sort of personal trainers had that covered. So these, you know, there was a nice contrast to these sessions, although they haven't been greatly popular, but at least those who wanted to do them, they've been there.
Yeah, it's easier to train slower when you're at the gym.
Yes, yeah.
Because you can walk around, have a drink, walk around the lap of the gym sort of thing, talk to someone. When you're at home, you might do a set of bicep curls, and 10 seconds later, you do another day, which isn't really the idea.
Yeah, there's nothing to be hanging on for, is there?
No, so you don't get that rest.
There is that bit of social as well. There's the good lads in the gym, and so it's
yeah,
the crack with the lads. And, yeah, not long now, mate. Long.
No.
Right, we'll go for one more set of those before we get into our isolated stuff.
Yep.
Have a good rest there. Hopefully we'll get 10. So nice close grip. Elbows in front, so you've got a little bit of moving across the sort of torso. You've got that adduction of the elbows across the torso. Keep those elbows close. Let's see how we go. Let's see how we go with these. 1 and a half. 2 and a half. 3 and a half. 4 and a half. 5 and a half. 6 and a half. 7 and a half. 8 and a half. One more. Oh. Didn't quite get the half at the end, but 9 reps with a little half at the top. Oh. Up. Right, Sean, last little bit for lats now then. And just use those as a bit of grip. And I want to pull myself, obviously, you know the drill here now, mate, but you know, if anybody's picking this up later on YouTube, then the idea here is to sort of pull your hands down, and pull that torso through, sliding through on this slippery floor with my joggers on, getting your head up, chest out, shoulders down and back, and your torso into extension. And we know the lats complete that movement. There's no 1.5s here, Sean. It doesn't really lend itself well to that. So let's just go for 2 straight sets. 2 sets of 8, 2 sets of 9, 2 sets of 10, whatever, depending on sort of fatigue levels and how much contribution from the tricep that you're experiencing. So yeah, let's see. Just slightly wider than shoulder width with the grip. Head up, chest out. Let's see how we go. As soon as you're ready. So that movement of pulling down gets those lats without elbow flexion, so it's more isolated. Oh. Tough movement, this. 5. We shoot for 8. 6. Lats are tired now. 7. One more for me. 8. Oh. Little breather there, Sean. I'm just going to go and get me a drink, mate. Won't be a sec. Okay, Sean, we've got one more set of them, mate. In a few seconds' time. That's going to give us 6 working sets for our lats. That's plenty. Then we're going to get into 4 working sets for our mid-back, and then 4 working sets for our biceps. And that's our workout. So, as soon as you're feeling good, feeling ready, the second set of these slide pull-throughs, and that'll complete our sort of lat workout. So as soon as you're ready, mate, away we go. I'm going to shoot for another 8. Head up, chest out. It's all the usual teaching points. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on, 2 more. 7. 10 each going. I'm going to push another one out. Head up. Oh, 8. Oh, little rest. Felt that my lats. A little bit of triceps. Can certainly feel it in the right spot. So we know we're overloading the lats with those 3 moves that we've just chosen there. 2 working sets for each. Giving us a good start to this upper body pull, back biceps, back width, back thickness. Right, so now we've got to turn our attention to our intrascapular, mid-back, rhomboids, rear delts, mid to lower traps is what we want to try and hit. Bit of biceps, bit of forearms get involved naturally. So we're going to do now our inverted rows, which have been a staple for us for our mid-back. And we're going to couple that with an isolation movement. We've got that door frame, scapular squeeze. So those are our 2 movements. We're going to do them 1.5s. So the same theory that we did the chins with. So we can go get set up for that. Pop my trainers back on. I can feel that in my lats now. Got a good pump on me, my wide part of my back. Take a couple of mouthfuls of drink. Pop. Get my fluids in. Okay, so why are we changing this? Okay, so if my torso is vertical, then I'm pulling down like this, I know my lats are the primary mover. If I can change this into the horizontal plane and work there, this horizontal abduction, either with a row or with a fly or something like that, closing down this space between the shoulder blades, I know I'm going to get those muscles that we just talked about, the rhomboids, the rear delts, the mid-back, all these muscle groups which close the space between our shoulder blades. Massively important for postural correction or a good posture. So the first one we're going to do, we're going to do an inverted row. We need to set up wide, and we're going to get nice and wide. We're going to get our torso as flat as we can given the equipment that we're working with, and we're going to get our chest to the bar. The hardest spot is that last 4 to 6 inches getting your chest to the bar. So we're going to hang out there. So we've got a full and a half at the top, full, half at the top, looking for 8, 10, 12 reps where there's maximum tension on those muscles and maximum shortening on those muscles that we talked about just now. And that's how we're going to get the recruitment in these muscle groups that we talked about. So let's get that set up. Nice wide position with this tuning station. Really important when I get set up for this that I'm pushing my hips upwards and I'm squeezing my glutes, and my torso goes from as vertical as I could make it earlier to as horizontal as I can make it. You know the drill with these, Sean, so you can get yourself set up, mate. And as soon as you're ready, we'll have a go. Looking for 8, 10, 12 reps or so with that 1.5 with your chest nice and close to this bar. Let's see how we get on. Hips up, chest out, hips up. 1.5. 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5. Come on. 9.5, 10. Oh, that's many tens. Oh, tough set. Oh, little recovery. Oh. So changing from that vertical position where the lats of the primary mover to that horizontal position, almost like a row, trying to get those elbows up and out wide, working in horizontal abduction here. This range helps to try and reduce the amount of lats and maximize or encourage those muscle groups of our mid-back to get involved and get something done. Get these shoulder blades sitting back. Get this sort of the head of the humerus in the glenoid sitting back a little instead of being internally rotating, this kyphotic position. Get those shoulders back. So there's the benefit. Not only do you develop your physique and your strength, spine alignment's better, and posture is much better. So we've got one more of them to do, Sean. I only got 10. Some of those are a bit ropey at the end. But what makes this so challenging is staying in the most challenging portion of the lift at the top. So you're straight, you've got a little bit of momentum on that full rep, but then that's the hard part, that half a rep in the most taxing position of the lift is quite tough, really. So it soon makes the set challenging, makes it a lot harder. So instead of adding weight, which we don't have the luxury of doing, we can do that, and it makes the set a lot more challenging. Right then, second set of those before we change up on our mid-back. If I get 10 reps again, I'll be lucky, mate. So I'm going to shoot for about 8 to 9 good ones. We'll see how we go. If you're feeling good and strong, 12 reps, mate, it'd be great. Just keep going, see how you go. Right, nice wide grip. 90 degrees at the knees. Hips up, flat torso, head up, chest out. 1.5 at the top. 2.5 at the top. 3.5. 4.5. 5.5. The chairs are going. 6.5. 7.5. One more. 8.5. So the tendency there, as fatigue sets in, you could see that in my reps then, is to drive through as hard as you can. Because of the way we've got this set up, the chairs will shake a little. That's reminding me that I've got to squeeze the rep as opposed to driving the rep. And that's the point, of course, where the chairs are shaking around so much. And I know I've lost that ability to squeeze. So 8 reps for me, bit of fatigue setting in is the point that of failure on that exercise for me. So just like we did with the laterals a second ago, moving from the chin-in movements into the stiff arm pull, the isolation, if you like. We're going to do the same again now. So we've gone from the inverted row that we call it, with the hips up, and we're trying to get the chest, torso horizontal and chest to the bar to hit these mid-back muscles. We're going to go back to the door frame scapular squeezes. But again, we're going to hang out in that squeeze position. So I'm going to do a full one, full rep, then a half, full rep, and then a half as I'm leaning against the door frame. These are a lot easier. You're not using as high a percentage of your body weight, but you can squeeze the reps better So I had to drive the reps because using that higher percentage of body weight, it was quite tough. Reducing the amount of body weight that we're using allows that better mind to muscle connection, a better muscular contraction. So that's what we're going to go and hit next. 2 sets of these. So a quick reminder of the exercise when we get there, what it looks like. Any door frames, a little bit of a walk down this corridor for me so I can get to this first available door frame. And the idea here is upper arm in this plane here. So we've got arms up, we've got external rotation, which is a nice position to sort of be in. So we're not internally rotated when we're performing these reps. We want external rotation as we perform these reps. Angle your body. So the steeper the angle, the more you're getting your feet out in front of you, the steeper your angle, the higher the percentage of body weight that you're going to be using. So you don't want to be laid flat. You know, you want to be sort of not even 45 degrees. You just want to feel a nice amount of load across your sort of mid back, if you like. And from there, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let my torso fall into the room behind me, and then I've got a full rep, then a pulse, then a full rep, then a pulse. Those reps are a little bit fast. I'm going to take a little bit more time. You couldn't do that over there because that we're using the body weight. It was too challenging to get that squeeze at the top. Here, we can do that now. We can start to squeeze. It's more of an isolation. So 2 sets of these then, Sean. Three, and a nip. 4, and a squeeze. 5, and a squeeze. Feel it already. 6. Effective exercise this if it's done well. 7 and a half. 8 and a half. 9 and a half. I'll get the 12 this time. 10 and a half. Start to feel it now. 11 and a half. 12 and a half. Whoa. Do you know what? We're using less weight there than we were on our inverted rows, but I could really feel that on the targeted muscle groups a lot more. So there is benefit for slowing it down, focusing on your mind to muscle connections a little bit more, using less load. So, you know, there's more than one way to stimulate these muscle groups. So yes, you can use heavy loads and that has its place. Lighter weights as well also has its place. So good to use both.
That definitely works, that exercise.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, and not a lot of people, you know, they neglect so much those muscle groups which hold the shoulder in the right position, you know. So everyone's dead keen to get pressing. Everyone's anterior delts are really strong and quite meaty. You know, you get a little bit of development on the medial delt, but there's no real rear delt. You know, it's and that's what that, you know, it's those muscle groups at the back there that we're trying to target, and these external rotation muscles that are the defense against all this really strong, these big and powerful muscles pulling us inwards, pulling us into sort of torso flexion, if you like. It's not a good position for the shoulders, and then you sort of get into sort of our age a bit, Sean, and you know, and you're thinking, again, 1.5s, and then we're into biceps after that.
Okay.
Second set. It's not as taxing, but I can feel the benefit. you know, you feel more tired over there, but these feel really beneficial. You can really get a good squeeze. 1, and a squeeze. 2, a squeeze. 3, squeeze. 4 and a half. 5 and a half. 6 and a half. 7 and a half. 8. I can feel fatigue setting in now at 8. 9 and a half. 10 and a half. 11 and a half. 12 and a half. Whoa. But you're looking to deload the joints, or your shoulders are hurting, like I've just said, or your elbows got some pain, or your knees or your hips, whatever. You just feel a little bit beat up from constantly training heavy. So much merit and so much benefit to saying to yourself, right, I'm going to have 6 weeks, 2 months. I'm going to use 50% of the load that I normally use. I'm going to slow my reps down. I'm going to do some of these 1.5s. I'm going to do some matrix. I'm going to do some isometrics. You know, you don't have to use these heavy loads to stimulate these muscle groups. You can stimulate these muscle groups, extend your time on attention, get your metabolic stress. You can let these joints recover, and then you can always lift heavier later. You know, this lifting heavy 12 months of the year, you see people doing it, you know, they're beating up on the joints. You know, allow those joints to recover. Use some of these different methods that we've been using on this muscle maintenance sort of series of training. And it really, your joints really thank you for it. Right then, enough nagging, everybody. So we've got a couple of bicep movements now. So we've had 6 working sets for the lats, 2 working sets on the inverted row, 2 working sets just now on our door frame, scapular squeezes. So we know we want a little bit of work on the biceps. We're going to come back to these traditionally strength-based movement, the head banger bicep curl, which we haven't done for a few weeks now. So I want to come back to that. And some chin-ups, some old school chin-ups. So we've done a little bit of door frame bicep curls for the last couple of weeks. So we're giving them a little bit of a rest, although they're great at sort of getting a good squeeze in your biceps. Then we'll come into using the chairs and the chinning station again. So the first one then, head banger curl. Body position is very similar to the inverted row in that we're going to get our hips up, we're going to get our torso flat. The only difference is we've got our elbows close and our shoulders in flexion. And then from there, the shoulders in flexion. So the biceps are already shortened because the bicep is responsible not only for elbow flexion, but for shoulder flexion as well, because it spans the shoulder joint. So from there, we've got the elbows up, and then we've got that elbow flexion there. So you can see head banger, every rep, banging into my head there. So that's, you know, that's where the American name. So you get the head banger curls. So let's get set up for that. Drop this down in a little. We're going to try the 1.5, Sean, although it's going to be tough. So I'm going to drop this down a little. It's a bit closer, I reckon. So it's going to be quite hard to do the 1.5s on this, Sean, but we'll give it a go. And the reason for that is because it's already a shorter movement with our upper backs sort of hitting the floor. What I'm going to try and do is just do that last 2 inches. So I'm going to do a full rep, sort of shoulders to the floor, head to the bar. Then 2 inches off and then head to the bar again. Then shoulders all the way down, head to the bar, 2 inches, head to the bar. And I'm going to try and work those ranges if I can. If I get 8 to 10 reps on this, I'll be chuffed, because it's as we know from doing this in the past, it's quite hard, particularly if you're getting your hips off the floor. So you could do this as a little drop set. You can do as many as you can with your hips off the floor, and then drop your hips to the floor for the last few reps as your biceps get tired. Let's give it a crack. Let's see how we go. I want my forehead. Don't start this set until you've got your forehead directly underneath. So I'm going to go all the way up from the floor, all the way up, then 2 inches all the way up, floor all the way up, 2 inches all the way up. that's going to give him a 1.5. As soon as you're ready then, away we go. 1.5. Touch. 2.5. Touch. 3.5. 4.5. 5.5. Oh, that's hard. 6.5. 2 more then. 7.5. Whew. 8.5. And a rest there. Oh, that's hard. Whew. Very, very difficult. If you're catching this up on YouTube and you're finding that tough, the reduced load version is to leave your hips on the floor. Leave those hips down. I'll just give you a demonstration of that one. Leave the hips down and then work there. That's a lot easier than working with your hips up. It reduces that load that you're working with by 40–50% or so. So I set off with the best of intentions on that set to try as soon as my back, light touch with my back, and then went into the next rep. By the time I got to 4 reps, 5 reps, I was having to rest completely my back on the floor, compose myself before going in again. And what that does is it takes tension off the muscle, allowing it to recover before going into the next rep. It's just fatigue. I just wasn't strong enough in the biceps to complete those movements the way I should have done. But you know, overloading the body, aren't we? So, you know, it's to be expected. So we've got one more set of those, Sean, after a bit of recovery, and then we're into some chin-ups, classic chin-ups with the palms facing, which recruits the biceps just that little bit better. So a few seconds recovery, mate. We'll get into position, have another go. That's better for me. So, addressing the bar then, about shoulder width with the grip, elbows are staying nice and close, you don't want them flaring out, forehead underneath this bar. Decide whether you're working with your hips or you're leaving the hips out of it, or a combination of the two. So you know now that it's a bit more challenging, a lot more challenging, I should say, with the hips up. I'm going to go for a full rep, light touch, with the shoulders on the 4 reps, and then on my half reps, I'm just going to try and drop my head off this bar 2 inches before squeezing through the biceps again. Okay, Sean, then, if you're good, let's go. Let's see how we go. Off we go. 1.5. 2.5. 3.5. Better set for me, this. 4.5. Just into the movement now. 5.5. 6.5. Kicking in now. 7.5. One more. 8.5. Oh, good strength movement for the bicep, that. Whew. Oh, that's hurt the biceps. Good strength movement for the biceps. If you ain't got any dumbbells, you haven't got a barbell, you're thinking, how can I hit my biceps? I want to do some biceps. I haven't got a chin-in station. How can I hit my biceps? Set something up like that if you can. Broom handle, pet a couple of chairs. Great way to keep your biceps conditions, biceps strong, biceps ticking over in the absence of your gym environment. Last exercise coming up. Classic. So if we've got pull-ups which are pronated, pull-ups pronation, we've got our classic chin up here, and we know that the bicep is responsible for supination, palm towards you. So you can see the bicep working as you turn the palm. So if we turn the palm towards us and perform these reps, we know we're going to get more bicep than if we're pronating, turning away. So we can use these just to help us hit the bicep, although we are going to get a little bit of assistance from the lats as this is there's a lot of shoulder extension going on down in this way. So shoulder flexion coming up, shoulder extension going down, which is what the lats are responsible for. So we're going to get a little bit of lat, but that's okay because the biceps are tired now. So classic sort of chin-ups to finish. We're going to do these in a 1.5 style. Now, where's the most stressful portion of this lift? For the biceps, not for the lats, for the biceps, to a right angle. Okay, so that's where I'm going to try and hang out on my halves. So I'm going to go full rep, little half, back down, full, little half, full, little half. But I'm going to try and hit my little halves when my elbow is at right angles to try and get the best bicep recruitment that I can, as opposed to the best lat recruitment. As I pull my elbows down the back and elbows past here. So if I did my half at the top, for example, getting more lats, doing my halves here with this at right angles at the elbow, then I'm hopefully going to encourage a little bit more bicep. Right then, let's get set up. Back to our tuning station for the last one. So again, working with the torso vertically this time, if we can. So our inverted row. So chins we did with our torso like this, inverted row we did with our torso like this. So we want to come back to that original position for these chins if we can. Palms facing us, full rep, half at right angles, full rep, pulse at right angles, full rep, pulse at right angles. 8, 10, 12 reps, couple of sets of that just to finish off the biceps. Let's see how we go. As soon as you're ready, off we go. All finished?
Looks like fucking double rolls here under 1, 2.
You still doing your session? Yeah, I'm with it now.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to show you some down to show off.
Next time. See you later.
Yeah,
See ya. Right, here we go. 1 and a half at a right angle. 2, half at a right angle. 3, 5 and a half. 6 and a half. 7 and a half. 8 and a half. 9 and a half. 10 and a half. 11 and a half. 11. Oh, pleased with that. 11 with a little half at right angles at the elbow. Whew. Oh, tough set. Felt that on the biceps. So you can certainly feel the bicep recruitment increase, of course, when you turn your palms towards you. And that's the big factor here. Palms away, less bicep, palms towards you. It's just going to help bring those bicep fibers into the lift a little bit more. Pleased that I managed to get 11. So we've got that final set just to work through. Palms facing on our sort of chair chin-ups, just to finish off the biceps. Hello. I think someone's entered there who maybe shouldn't have. Someone joined us then for a split second, Sean. So we've got one more set of these, mate, and then we'll have a quick stretch off and the job's done. I think they must be doing like another gym quiz or something straight after this. Right, one more set then, mate. All right then, Sean, last set, mate. Let's get on this, let's see how we get on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, one more. Oh, just getting tired there. Fatigue just stopping me from completing those reps well. That's the sign to know that you've done enough. There's a load of people wanting to get in on this channel, Sean. So I think they must be having a bit of a gym quiz tonight. So are you all right to go through a few standard stretch off, mate, for
Yeah.
back and boys, mate. So I'll jump to it. Yeah, I'll jump off this. They can get all set up for the gym quiz at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, appreciate that, Pat.
Any time, Sean, no worries. It was a good workout for me as well.
Yeah, sound that, mate. Thank you. I'll catch you Monday.
Sound. All the best.
Cheers, pal.
Thanks, mate. Bye, mate.